Welcome everyone. Today we shall discuss about Parseval's property of DFT. So Parseval's property of DFT, this theorem provides a way to calculate a signal's total energy using either its time domain samples or its frequency domain representation. So it demonstrates that the DFT preserves the total energy of a signal. So the total energy of the discrete time signal is same whether it is calculated is in time domain or in the frequency domain. So consider the complex valued sequences x of n and y of n. So if the DFT of x of n gives x of k and the DFT of y of n gives y of k, so summation of n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n into y complex conjugate of y of n is equal to 1 divided by n summation of k is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n into complex conjugate of x of k into complex conjugate of y of k. So here if x of n is equal to y of n, the above equation becomes summation of n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n magnitude square is equal to 1 by n summation of x of k magnitude of square. So above equation gives the energy of a finite duration sequence in terms of its frequency domain. The total energy of a discrete time signal in the time domain is equal to the total energy of its DFT in the frequency domain, except for a scaling factor 1 by n. Basically, energy does not change when we move from time domain to frequency domain. The DFT discrete Fourier transform only redistributes it. The discrete Fourier transforms preserves the energy. It only redistributes it across the frequency bins. This property is also called as energy conservation property of Fourier transforms. It takes a signal energy from one time sample x of n and spreads into frequency bins of x of k in frequency domain. So coming to the proof of Parseval's theorem is circular correlation is given by, we know that circular correlation property Rxy of L is equal to summation of n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n complex conjugate of n minus L modulus of n, that is double small brackets indicates the convolution property, convolution with the n. So for L is equal to 0, so we are taking the limit L is equal to 0 in the above equation. If we consider L is equal to 0 in this equation, we get circular correlation Rxy of 0 is equal to n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n into complex conjugate of y of n. Since L is equal to 0, n minus 0, we get this complex conjugate of y of n. Let us consider this equation as 1. We know that complex circular correlation Rxy of L is will give the DFT transform of the circular correlation will be represented by the complex circular correlation Rxy of k is equal to x of k multiplied with the complex conjugate of y of k. It is the circular correlation property of DFT. Multiplication of DFT of one sequence x of k and complex conjugate of DFT of another sequence y of k is equivalent to the circular correlation of the two sequences in the time domain. So time domain is this Rxy of L. So that will be equal to the frequency domain, multiplication of frequency domain one sequence and complex conjugate of another sequence. So here we should recall what do you mean by conjugate. The meaning of conjugate is keeping the real part same and changing the sign of the imaginary part gives you the conjugate term. So multiplication of one normal signal and another one complex conjugate signal will be equal to circular correlation property. So this is represented by this equation. So when you apply inverse discrete Fourier transforms IDFT of this circular correlation property, the inverse discrete Fourier transform of product of two sequences, that is x of k and complex conjugate of y of k, will give you Rxy of L. So by the definition of Rxy of L, applying the definition of inverse discrete Fourier transform, we get 1 by n summation of k is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of k into complex conjugate of y of k, second term, and the exponential term e to the power of j2 pi kl by n. So with L is equal to 0, Rxy of 0 is equal to 1 by n will be the same. This summation will be the same. X of k will be the same. Y complex conjugate of y of k will be the same term. But here in the exponential term L becomes 0. So e to the power of 0 will be 1. So we get right hand side 1 by n, that is this 1 by n summation term as it is, x of k as it is, and y complex conjugate of y of k as it is. So we get, by equating equation 1 and equation 2, by comparing equation 1 and equation 2, compare it writing in the LHS and RHS, we get that this equation. So if we provide x of n is equal to y of n, then the summation of this complex conjugate of y of n will be x of n. So summation of n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n magnitude square is equal to 1 by n summation term x of k magnitude square. So here the Parseval-Weyls theorem is satisfied, is proved. Thank you.